Basketball fans, welcome to the Nderitu Basketball YouTube channel, your one-stop shop for everything about the NBA. In this video, I'll be talking about the likely end of Bradley Beal's time with the Phoenix Suns and the potential future that he will have in the NBA. So, Bradley Beal, he was brought in by the Phoenix Suns from the Washington Wizards in the 2023 offseason, and 2 years later, the Phoenix Suns are not happy with the results that they've had both in the regular season and in the postseason. And Bradley Beal's name is getting tagged, especially in NBA circles, when you're talking about the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns are tired of Bradley Beal and they're pursuing a buyout. So the Phoenix Suns are in advanced talks to buy out Bradley Beal's massive contract, which has 2 years and over 110 million remaining. Specifically, 53.67 million for the 2025-2026 season and 57.13 million player option for the 2026-2027 season. So this move is aimed at clearing salary cap and getting under the second luxury tax apron to enable a rebuild around Devin Booker. So Devin Booker signed that extension and the Suns are going in a different direction. And Beal will need to leave approximately 13.9 million on the table for the Phoenix Suns to stretch the remaining portion of his deal over 5 years. So the Phoenix Suns, they are done with Bradley Beal and the buyout talks are in advanced stages and they're looking how quickly can we offload this guy. So there was that declining production and his high salary. So despite Bradley Beal's reputation as a skilled scorer, Beal's on-court production has declined significantly in Phoenix, averaging 17 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in his last season. This output is a sharp fall from his prime Washington Wizards days, where he was averaging 31.3 points per game, making his Supermax contract one of the league's highest salaries a major financial burden for the Suns. Because if you're getting paid max dollars, the team expects max stats all across the board. But it's very difficult because Bradley Beal was playing alongside Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. So averaging 31 points per game and the team is not centered around you, it was difficult. And considering the fact that a lot of times it's taken out of context. When Bradley Beal was averaging 32 points per game for the Washington Wizards, look at the productivity and where the Washington Wizards ranked. They were a lower seeded team. They were barely winning games, and the statistics that Bradley Beal was putting up, they looked more like empty stats. Even if he was averaging 32 points per game, it was not translating to wins. And you have seen that even in his tenure with the Phoenix Suns. And also, one major hurdle that is hurting the Phoenix Suns right now is Bradley Beal's no trade clause in his contract. So the Washington Wizards, through Bradley Beal's agent, decided to give him a $250 million contract extension with the Wizards at the time with a no trade clause. That meant that he decides and he consents to whether the team will trade him or not trade him. So Beal possesses that no trade clause, which gives him full control over any potential trade talks, making it nearly impossible for the Suns to move him via trade without his consent. We have seen the blockbuster trade that happened between the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks, where the Lakers swapped Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic. And if you look at how that trade happened, you'll see that Luka Doncic didn't even know he was getting traded. So that means that contract that Luka Doncic signed did not have a no trade clause. So that meant the organization could trade him even without his consent. And the no trade, if Luka Doncic had a no trade clause, that means that the Dallas Mavericks would not pull that move. And the reason as why you could see teams signing players to contracts which have no trade clauses in them, you'll see that a player is loyal to a team, but sometimes you can be loyal and the team just moves in a different direction. So Bradley Beal, he cannot be traded without his consent. So this is a key reason why a buyout is now the primary option, because who will take on Bradley Beal's contract? What team, what executive out of the other 29 teams, who is going to absorb that $54 million contract? Nobody. I mean, and that's the reason as to why a buyout is necessary and it's the only option. And there are currently four contending teams eyeing Bradley Beal post buyout. So with that buyout happening, several contenders are interested in acquiring Bradley Beal at a discounted price, including exceptions. So we have the Los Angeles Clippers. They are the front runners to sign a Bradley Beal to a $5.3 million mid-level exception. So considered the front runners due to their financial flexibility and a clear need for a starting shooting guard after recent trades. This offers a strong chance for title contention at a stable veteran environment. So the Clippers, they're looking towards getting all the stars, and they're trying to see, can we get a Bradley Beal at a thoroughly discounted price. So that's what it means. Then you have the Lakers on a 5.1 million biannual exception. So the Lakers could offer a dynamic offensive backcourt with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, but Beal will likely be a sixth man and sacrifice touches, especially when you're playing alongside Luka Doncic, LeBron James. I mean, DeAndre Ayton is there in the mix, so limited touches, and he's gonna come off the bench, and he's not gonna start. I don't think he's going to start at this salary. Then the Milwaukee Bucks on a $3.8 million vet minimum deal. So the Milwaukee Bucks can only offer a minimum deal, but provided a chance to play alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo, and potentially he can start for the Milwaukee Bucks, especially with Damian Lillard's departure, and they brought in Miles Turner. So the Bucks are looking towards beefing up their backcourt so they can use a Bradley Beal. Also, the Minnesota Timberwolves on a 3.8 vet minimum deal. This is a long shot, offering a minimum deal with a bench role behind Anthony Edwards, but might appeal due to some teams' success and culture. Because if you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've been quite successful, and getting a Bradley Beal at a discounted price and he's coming off the bench can be good. And those are the four teams. I mean, if it doesn't work, I don't know where Bradley Beal goes from here. Those are the only four teams that have shown that there's genuine interest and they're willing to spend vet minimum deal. They're not even going to give him more than 5 or even 6 million like that. You have seen the Clippers offer 5.3, not a salary that they can put him on waivers easily if he doesn't perform. Because if a team gives you a salary that is less than 6 million, that means that your salary is team friendly and they can waive you. If you're irrelevant, they can waive you. And I can give an example of Carmelo Anthony in 2018 when he signed with the Houston Rockets. The man only played 10 games and he was on a $2.4 million vet minimum deal. And when the Houston Rockets quickly realized that they made a mistake with Carmelo Anthony, they quickly put him on waivers, and he found himself without a team until 2019 when he went to that ESPN Fast Take interview, and he really wanted to get back in the NBA, and the Portland Trail Blazers gave him a chance at going back. So that's going to be a similar situation with a Bradley Beal, especially if he's stubborn and he doesn't want to agree to forfeiting $13.9 million on the table. That can really piss off a lot of NBA executives, and they don't take such matters lightly. And also, there's also fan frustration. So NBA fans have reacted with strong frustration and criticism towards Beal's contract and performance. So with many suggesting the Suns could not buy him out and instead let him sit at home and force him to play out his contract due to his detrimental impact on the team's finances. That's something that we have seen fans come out and say, is it possible to frustrate this Bradley Beal guy? Because there were reports that came out that the coaching staff, especially being led by Mike Budenholzer before he got fired, they were looking at, can we bench Bradley Beal intentionally, frustrate him so that he just wants to request for a trade? So that is one thing that it was being used during the season. So this is not a new phenomenon. And NBA fans are frustrated. They're looking at Bradley Beal. He's not playing. He's on a max salary, and it's detrimental to the team. So this fan reaction reflects the widespread belief that his contract is one of the worst trades in NBA history. Okay, I can go to that extent to say this is the worst trade, but man, the Phoenix Suns swung and missed hard, and there are a lot of implications, especially for the Phoenix Suns. So a buyout, while expensive, spreading the dead money over 5 years, will provide immediate salary cap relief, and it will help the Suns get under the second apron and offer more flexibility to build around a new roster around Devin Booker. So the Suns can build a roster around Devin Booker with cheaper and younger talent. So the alternative of keeping him around will continue to severely hamper the Suns' financial flexibility during Booker's prime, because Devin Booker right now is in his prime, and having a guy like Bradley Beal on the roster will hurt like their rebuilding. And right now, as we speak, the identity of the Phoenix Suns is changing, and there's no need for a Bradley Beal. So Bradley Beal, moving on even to his buyout situation, I mean, that anticipated buyout from the Phoenix Suns has been delayed a couple of times, despite both parties, that's Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns, agreeing that they are mutually want to part ways. But the biggest contract that is the biggest problem in that contract, the biggest thing that is delaying that buyout is that 13 million advance snag. So I mean, Bradley Beal's expected buyout for the Phoenix Suns are not yet materialized, contrary to expectations that we had. So the primary reason for the delay is a unique clause in Bradley Beal's contract. He's owed over 25% advance payment on his 2025-2026 salary, totaling over $13 million, which is scheduled to be processed on 15th July, this coming Tuesday. And Bradley Beal, as we speak right now, man, he won't budge. And while sources confirm that Bradley Beal will receive his money regardless of whether he's bought out or not, it's believed that he's intentionally waiting for his payment to clear before finalizing any agreement to leave the Phoenix Suns. So he appears unwilling to lose even a single dollar in the process, and he wants to collect the whole amount. And that is something that the Phoenix Suns are trying to wiggle themselves out of. But Beal, through his agents, I'm pretty sure they want to secure every single, because maybe might be the only money that he can be able to generate in the NBA, because I don't think any NBA executive, any NBA team can offer Bradley Beal a massive deal like this one. So, I mean, Beal's son's tenure has been very underwhelming. So he arrived in Phoenix in the summer of 2023 after 11 years with the Wizards. I mean, his 2 seasons with the Suns have been plagued by injuries and setbacks, with the team underperforming, especially finishing 11th in the West in the 2024-2025 season. This season that just concluded, and his productivity and his game dipped significantly with career lows. This is the lowest you have seen Bradley Beal play. 17 points, 3.8 assists, 3.3 rebounds. Ain't gonna cut it for a max deal. And the Suns have expressed a desire to move on from Bradley Beal. So team owner Matt Ishbia deemed the Big Three experiment unsalvageable, leading to the trade of Kevin Durant and exploration of buying out Bradley Beal. So that no trade clause and the $110 million remaining on his contract has made it impossible for the Suns and Bradley Beal to come to terms and try to part ways in a way that won't sour both parties. But hey, it's a tough situation. That buyout is being delayed by contractual clauses there, and for that buyout to happen, Bradley Beal has to forfeit 13.9 million. So it's a tough one. So I mean, I don't know, Bradley Beal, man. It's a tough one for it's a tough one for everyone. I mean, there are a lot of times you're seeing such situations happen, and you're looking at how can you mutually part ways. And that decline of Bradley Beal in those 2 years, that failed Big Three, that's the main reason why. And the only thing that is holding up that contract from getting bought out is that 13.9 million like clause, and he will have to forfeit that amount of money, and that buyout is the best option. So it is what it is. So the Suns right now are trying to get under the second apron, the second luxury tax apron. And because if they don't do that, they'll be paying a hefty luxury tax, and they will not be able to experience some benefits that comes in when they are under the second apron, because they're hard capped, they can't do sign-in trades. there are exceptions that they are denied because they are in the second apron, and this happens when a team has a very high payroll. So fan reactions, people are not that happy, and the situation when it comes to the fans is overwhelmingly negative, with many expressing outrage at the financial implications of Bradley Beal's contract and the perceived lack of return on that massive salary, because you can't pay this guy that amount and they're not able to offer good productivity on the court. So we have seen even the potential contenders when Bradley Beal is bought out. The LA Clippers are there, Los Angeles Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks, Minnesota Timberwolves. They're offering deals less than $6 million just to test to see if Bradley Beal can change his ways, but I don't think he would. But the writing is on the wall, and there's the end of the superstar era for Bradley Beal, and contract buyout will help the Phoenix Suns gain so much flexibility. And the NBA's punitive second luxury tax apron is what is hurting the Phoenix Suns, and buying out Bradley Beal might be that thing that will save them from that. And that no trade clause from his contract, and also not him agreeing to those terms of forfeiting some certain percentage of that salary so that they can stretch it out, is a big problem. And yeah, it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. I mean, the Bradley Beal situation has been a tough one, and hopefully the Suns can be able to move on from him amicably, and they can find a solution to that. And that will really help the rebuild process for the Phoenix Suns, and they can be able to use the money that they'll be able to secure in the salary cap below the second apron to be able to sign more role players, because the free agency is still going on, and this has been all those major stories that I've seen happening. So like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.